Alrighty, here we are. Round number 3. This time around, we are casting Neatep as the Aqua PHC.
His opponent, Warren, formerly known as Crash Override, as the Grey PHC.
Warren certainly less intimidating than Crash Override. Perhaps it's intentional. Maybe it's to try and lull his opponent into a false sense of security. Like, oh, Warren, he can't be too tough.
Maybe he had a fallout with Angelina Jolie, so it's possible. Oh, you don't get hackers references,
I don't.
do you?
I don't.
So,
Oh no!
yeah,
I thought that was a celebrity goss reference, and I was
Right.
like, "Do you really expect me to get this?" But that was a movie reference, was it?
It was from the movie Hackers, which is where the name Crash Override is from.
Ah.
Which stars Angelina Jolie, very early Angelina Jolie, before famous Angelina Jolie.
Is that the one with Hacker Man?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that reference is from
Right.
that. But yeah, Crash Override is the pseudonym of one of the I guess the main character. And Angelina Jolie plays Acid Burn. So I did make a joke about that with Crash Override last time I was playing him in a tournament.
Right.
He appreciated that. So that certainly is where the name's from.
Is Warren the name of the character?
Oh,
of Crash
maybe. I
Override?
don't know, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, yeah, I can't say I watch the film religiously every year, but I do remember that reference part at least. Maybe it is. You never know. So, yeah.
Well, we see Warren go for brutes first. Most players, I think, go for archers these days.
Yeah. Or Archer into Brute Archer mix.
Yeah. That's what we see here. Wow, this is pretty funky. He's going the third metal, so he's probably going for double factory and just churn out a lot of... Whoa, what are you doing, buddy? Where is this engineer
Players
going?
keep doing this, like, all the time, and it's just, how often is it actually working?
Is he going to build a factory here as
It
well?
must be. Given he's going that far away, it must be a factory.
Yes, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so... I guess he's just going to cap really quickly. I mean, there's not another factory over here somewhere. He will have a lot of resources. I just don't get why. Like, what's the real advantage of having this factory here as opposed to having like another one here? It's just easier to manage your rally points if they're all together.
Yeah. And I don't think, especially with the small, like, even though they're relatively small frigate, like, speed buffs, I don't think it's actually any faster to move the engineer there, build the factory, and then build units. I don't think that's any faster.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Oh, not a big deal. So, yeah, see, that's sort of what most
Yeah,
players do.
yeah.
They just put the factories together. Behind this, we have a pan coming out now. The scout plane there for Warren. Neatep. Double quantum archive, and we see him actually struggling in radioactives a little bit there. Yeah, you shouldn't go double
it just doesn't work,
double
so,
quantum
yeah.
relay when you only have one radioactives
point.
region. Okay, it doesn't actually matter though, because all he's building apart from this is just frigates.
Still, -8 feels bad, man. It's not what you want.
Yeah. It just meant if he was to build one of them with 2 engineers, he'd probably gain like an extra 10 quanta
Yeah.
in between, building 2 of them individually.
Yeah, definitely.
And that can be a difference between you being, supply blocked. Wow, Warren building Hermes. What a mad dog.
Nice.
I used a Hermes today against Amelie pretty effectively.
What did you change the Hermes speed to?
I didn't change it because it was still. I think it's about 350. It's really fast, but
Right.
it's always been that fast. So I didn't change
They're
it.
very zoom. So
I mean, perhaps it justifies a buff somehow,
I think, I don't know, maybe.
because the fact that everything else is faster makes the Hermes indirectly less useful. They're still useful. What they're good for is, apart from just scouting and radar, they can be really good for just capturing undefended regions. You just send a Hades around
Hermes.
the side, a Hermes. So like here, if you just sort of rally a Hermes around and then you just like go up to this region, you start capping this, and they're like, what? And you're gonna call down an emergency turret for 1 Hermes?
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, there are some maps. This isn't really useful because it's pretty big, but there are some maps like Frosthaven where you have the 4 times metal region, and even if you have units sort of like on choke points, if you just the Hermes just goes past them, and so yeah, you can capture a cutoff or just capture a really important region that your opponent has, just with a zoom Hermes.
Maybe you just buff it to the point where it outruns Archer rockets. And...
Right.
Be good fun. So more of a standardized mix. We are at least seeing some archers here from Neatep. So many brutes from Warren. Is he transitioned out or?
Oh, I love this. Warren's gone for the amplifier on this one first.
Yep.
However, that being said, he's actually struggling for rads, so perhaps he should have gone for this one first, and certainly this one here as well.
Still very early amplifiers, which is good to see. I think that's a power regulator going down as well, so we'll have the optimizability.
Yeah, Neatep doesn't have the same. Well, he's going for that one too, though. Seems as though there's certainly a lot more quanta though for Neatep, so that's the compromise there. Neatep actually now ahead in radioactives because he went for this side really quickly. So I guess this factory, the proxy factory, worked really well for him because it's resulted in this big push, and he's already got an engineer here as well who's already claimed all these extractors.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good play. Of course, when you start getting dangerously close to your opponent's position, you just build defenses behind this as well.
Now this is a big army. There's a lot of medics there too. Hades is going to be swooping in. There's already several Tormentors though, or rather Atlas frigates. We can just shoot these Hades down.
Yeah, Atlas for both of our players, in fact, which is good to see. Lots of Atlas. Damn. Wreck him. Get him, Atlas. I like it. Okay, and the Smarty going down as well, which is good to see.
Man, he's pretty heavily outnumbered here. In this situation, the Smarties are actually better than Annihilators, just because the burst damage means the medics don't just sustain through the damage, but he's in trouble here. He has double Sky Factory, so he needs to get some Hades bombers out.
I think the only bonus here is that the Furies and the Dominators went down, but these units are still going to trade really effectively. Oh no, not the Hermes! My favourite unit.
Wow.
Oh no, they're actually, the medics are healing through.
Yeah, if the medics are close enough, they will.
Away.
But a lot of the times the medics are not close. Okay, there's more Smarties here. He throws down an emergency turret as well.
Has to.
He has some of his own units nearby. So he may be able to hold the line here. He's building doubles Hades.
And you snipe?
So that's going to scare him off once those doubles with Hades spawn.
Okay, it's just going to be the snipe onto the RE, which might not even finish because, Zeus finishes in conjunction with these Hades bombs. This is going to be nasty.
Yeah, those are the world's most deadest frigates I've ever seen. Yeah. That being said, there are several Tormentors, Atlas frigates, which are able to pick off some of the Hades. So I guess he did lose a lot of those Hades, which is pretty costly. But now there's a follow-up push of cruisers too. We've got an Artemis artillery cruiser. We've got the Athena. So this front line is still not secured.
No, definitely not. We need to see some more units like being produced. So, man, Atlas feels a great role.
Yeah, there's a lot more flexibility there in the game now. The Athena does pick off the engineer, but we can see Neatep's taking these flanks, not only the bottom left, but also the top right as well.
Yeah, whereas Warren's going to stop what he's doing, gone for a lot of forward production. It's like he has
oh my god,
quadruple forward factory and double armory in the front as well. So yeah.
And yet he's still not maxing out all of his resources. He needs to actually throw down more of them.
He's going at more factories now. So this is about as close as you can get to an all, and he's committing everything.
Wow. Now I like this showcase here because the frigates have got their movement speed buff, so they are definitely stronger. Let's see if it's going to be strong enough. He could just crush him here. Oh, Barrage. Wow, that's really nice.
Okay.
The Barrage is a lot tougher, has a lot more damage, but still there is the risk of Neatep just being sieged. The Artemis cruisers just outranging them. Maybe getting some Nemesises would be better at sniping the Artemis cruisers, but I think he'll be okay.
This is a lot of armories for Neatep. I'm not sure that he can support that. I guess we'll see how we go. 4 of them are currently producing, so maybe they can once the army's actually finished. We'll see how the economy stabilizes. It looks like he's going to be okay. There were a lot of radioactives drained.
Oh my god, this cutoff has taken out so much income from that bottom left section. In fact, he had to attack into it because his economy just was crippled from that.
It's outside of the range of the barrage.
Yeah, he got one shot off for the barrage, but this is a bit of a pointless suicide here.
Okay, there's another volley from the barrage. That's good.
Yeah, this is really nice, baiting him into the barrage.
Fighting just inside the range. Probably a little bit too close, but Gunner has no choice. This is really bad timing because Neatep just lost all of the income.
Yeah, he has managed.
As the armories finish.
He has managed to take out all the Athenas, so now the double Zeus cruiser is going to do pretty well. And most of these are not damage-dealing frigates here. There's like 2 archers, but apart from that, it's medics, tormentors, Hermes. I don't know why he has so many Hermes mixed in. Okay, the reinforcements though have arrived.
Maybe it wasn't meant to be Archer. Not realizing until too late. Okay.
The barrage is getting pretty low. There are some engineers here, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, I think they're out healing it. Just.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They are out healing it. That being said, though, despite this cutoff, Neatep is still pretty much on par with the economy.
Oh, the Animals are going to get sniped here. Awesome play. Good stuff by Neatep.
Yeah, just saving that barrage because he had this top right too, and these are pretty rich regions, and he's continuing to expand. Triple Rad's region there, so the cutoff may not matter, and cutting off reinforcements there was really important. Still, one of the Artemis is there. The double Nemesis, which allows him to one-shot Athenas. You can kind of pop in, shoot, pop out. What are these? These are more Hades being built.
Yeah.
Maybe not a good idea, just given how many anti-air there actually is mixed in
Is
there.
there a fallen nullifier here for Neatep? Because I feel like this is a lot of production that could just all go down.
There is no nullifier. Now, bear in mind the nuke abilities cost 1,000 quanta.
Right, yeah.
So they're a lot more expensive. Yeah, you can't really rush them. This is beautiful. I love this cutting off of the reinforcements at least. Yeah, actually forces him into engage, but the barrage has been repaired. And
this army can kill the barrage heads up easy.
I don't know.
Maybe not. I mean, there's an Artemis there. Just needs a little bit extra, and maybe for the engineer to go down. But the repairs are probably the biggest issue.
Yeah, if he snipes out the engineer with an Athena, perhaps, but he's going to have to because he's managed to take him out. To cut off his reinforcements at least.
Even some Artemis here for Neatep. Potentially collapse here and just take the trade. Let's see.
Yeah, I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, here we go.
There isn't a lot of anti-frigate, but it may not matter. All the cruisers have been picked off now, and that's the rest of the reinforcements.
Yeah, it's going to be everything going down. Good stuff from Neatep. Spent some Quanta as well. A decent chunk of it. I don't know what on. Maybe just upgrades.
Yeah.
Before he took the engagement.
See, he didn't have any Zeus cruisers, so these Athenas are just getting wrecked.
Pulled the rest of them back.
Oh, Plasma Storm.
Okay, here we go. Nice.
That's really good versus frigates. You did get a cost increase, as well as the ramp-up cost went up. So every time you use it, it costs up now. But that's a good use of it, because it was really only frigates there.
Yeah. Still even bigger frigate army in the middle, but hopefully this will allow Neatep to recapture his cutoff and solidify his position on that area.
Well, which cutoff? Because this one's been taken now as well. This one's going to be secured, though. The army actually went. I think there must be another army because he's actually taken off this point here too. Will be collapsed upon by a much larger cruiser army, but his income it's still going to be suffering just because he hasn't taken. He's lost both of these cutoffs, so he doesn't have most of the map connected.
I will cut off all your cutoffs off. Nasty stuff from Warren. Yeah, the flanks are definitely getting punished for Neatep through that commitment and just not having a solidified position or any real solid defense on the cutoffs. So now he loses all the income from those regions that were all fully extracted up, though obviously not amplified, but they were extracted up at least.
The cutoff will be taken back, but Warren has built another frigate army. We'll be able to push through these Smarties easily. Just needs to be careful of the Plasma Storm, but if he keeps baiting out Plasma Storm, as long as the armies aren't too big, then it may actually be worth the trade.
Should be starting to split up these. Oh, Neatep actually spent a lot of quanta there as well.
Nope, so that wasn't Plasma Storm.
Okay, no, maybe upgrades. So down to about 50 though. Obviously, actually the quanta income is kind of stabilized for Warren as well. Has decent quanta income, so it's good to see. I would like to see these free armies split up a little bit, especially with Warren knows the Plasma Storm's going to be available, so
yeah, I do like.
If you split it into 2 armies, then you got to pick.
I do like that investment though into the Plasma Storm because he's got a lot of quantum relays and he went for that weapons lab pretty early, and normally it's just not worth it if your opponent has a lot of cruisers now, given that cost increase. But yeah, see this, you kind of want to Plasma Storm that, but it's like, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
But just because he's going to lose so many of these extractors if he doesn't, but then he also wants a Plasma Storm here, so that is the problem if you're relying on that entirely.
I think that plasma storming this forward army is going to be more important. If one of these gets traded out, that Warren could just win the game.
Okay, cheeky little sentries here, though not a big deal because he's still connecting through the rest. But this is an incursion as well from Neatep. But there was double emergency turret, so the incursion wasn't able to do much.
Yeah. Zoo secondary weapon. Zoo secondary weapon. POP.
Yeah, so he gets the Sky Factory.
The Sky Factory. Do you feel validated, Callum?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, he's putting forward factories. This is just crazy, and these frigate armies are massive. Perhaps strategic bombers would be the best choice. I mean, Hades are great versus frigates, but strat bombers are even better.
I don't see any Sky Factories. Orbital Command going down now for Neatep, trying to dig his way out of the situation with Quanta investment.
Oh, wow. Okay, Plasma Storm gets this army, and, you know, it's really effective, but there's just so much frigate production. It just doesn't matter how many frigates you're killing with these Plasma Storms. Look, he's got another army already in position to replace it.
Yeah. It's probably the best way to deal with mass orbitals or kind of mass quanta income is like just have too many armies for them to possibly orbital at all.
Well, we can see Neatep's radioactive income is completely tanked.
Yeah, losing those really important points up the north. He had 3 RADS regions up the north that have been taken out.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Oh, that's brutal, man.
Yeah. Double, triple, like triple, I think, actually, up north.
He's only getting this one back now.
It's insane. He probably lost about half of his radioactives income in one swoop once the cutoff was taken.
At least he now has these ones back, so that'll be helping, but certainly behind his opponent Warren. And there's just so many frigates here. Even a decent number of cruisers as well. He is going for the engagement here. No, he decides to pull back. Nice barrage there from Warren. Will make it much harder to engage.
I'm not sure that Neatep has enough quanta for another plasma storm, so probably saving for it. Given he's already used it twice.
Yeah, it won't be cheap. It's 300 and then it's plus 30%. So, and what's that? 390 and then
plus,
again. So probably like 500.
500 something. So yeah, he probably has enough now. So maybe we see a Neatep look for a last ditch engagement in the middle. That's going to be my guess. Yeah, I think Neatep's going to engage in the middle with those cruisers. Now
he will have the orbital command. That's going to unlock the orbital strike. That's going to cost him 1,000. Nullifier mixed in. Great work there from Warren. This is just going to be perhaps the game-ending push, and still no air units. Maybe too many Athenas there as well. Needs to have more frigates.
It's going to be heads-up slaughter.
The Nemesis are actually picking off the Athenas as they retreat. He manages to get most of his army out, though, so that was a good retreat. Now he has his defensive line of Smarties.
Smarties are going to help against an army that's essentially just frigates, but... Now, Warren's going to start the trinium ticking in his favor as well. It's a huge cruiser army.
Yeah, this one can be quite deadly.
That's a huge portion of Neatep's forces. So that needs to be either dealt with by Warren or needs to pull back for Neatep and something happen.
This is it. Big engagement here between both of these players. Lots of cruisers there for Neatep, but lots of frigates for Warren. I think just the sheer number of these frigates is going to just muscle his way through these Athenas. The barrages and the Smarties will be opening up shortly. Well, perhaps the Athenas will get enough damage done. The mobile nullifier was taken out.
The bulk of the archers is actually down the south here, when they need to be up the north taking down the Athenas, and they're not.
Plasma Storm probably doesn't have the resources for it. He must have spent his Quanta on upgrades. The Zeus is going to be doing some great damage, but it's not quite being targeted. Needs to manually focus that one down. Yeah, there we go. Finally, the Zeus is picked off. That went better than I thought for Neatep.
He does have a lot of cruisers. Yeah, the armies look impressive from Warren, but they are mainly frigates.
I'm guessing he also has more quantum upgrades because he's certainly had a lot higher quanta income. Another little breakout attempt here by Neatep. Manages to get the critical mass around these factories. I don't know why he's building quantum relays on the front lines.
Yeah, that's not ideal. It's where I had my engineers, though. It's like, yeah, but... base would be better. Some new ones.
I'm glad Warren's finally just going for a dreadnought now. He has so much income. He could turn this one out pretty fast. Doesn't have a lot of engineers nearby though to do so. And the problem with when you have mainly just frigates is it means the Athenas will just hunt down the mobile nullifier because the target priorities. The Athenas will try and ignore the frigates if they can.
The side of Neatep does actually have, I think, most of the tech structures, so it won't matter in terms of, it's not going to matter in terms of like, I don't have access to carving tower or anything like that. I'm pretty sure he has access to everything at this point. So.
Okay, here come the Hades. Is there any anti-air here? No, there isn't.
No, there aren't. There's one Apollo? Yeah, one Apollo.
Not much. And if he gets to these Artemises down, then he should be able to hold the line here.
Yeah. It certainly is a weird push, like the Apollo being separated from the Artemis cruisers, but other engagement. It's a good breakout attempt, but it's just not going to work.
Yeah, the reinforcements from Warren are just endless. Refineries are being built to try and get his income bigger in his main base. An advanced Sky Factory as well from Warren, so he may start going for his own strategic bombers.
Yeah. Strat bombers would be a good investment.
Yeah. Warren much larger in his number of archers.
So, oh no, this is attack move. There we go. Good.
Yeah, I guess the attack move order.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's Plasma Storm worthy. Neatep should have enough.
Well, it calls in an incursion.
Incursion?
So that's going to be...
You change that?
Well, that's going to be pretty effective there, because there's still a few Zeus's alive. The archers are pretty spread out, though. But
maybe this will work.
Most of them have been picked off.
Yeah, it's going to work.
The incursion did also get a cost increase, 200 quanta. Yeah. Now, one problem for Neatep is there's actually several artillery posts here.
And it's a Kronos, dude.
Yeah, that's almost done, but it's it's only about 2/3, so he may be able to just focus it down in time.
Yeah, he could just get sniped. I'm not sure if even now he knows it's there. How far is he going to push in?
He's already taken out the barrager. There's a repair bay there for support. Down goes the mobile nullifier. He almost has the resources for the orbital strike. Not many units there in position to defend this one, and this army could just take out this dread launch, and with that, that's most of the investment, because these factories, they look like they're paused. Oh no, they're still building.
They're still producing, but it's just, okay, now the Hades is going to be coming in. That's at least going to trade out some of the frigates, and okay, we're going to get a carving turret called in by Neatep. It's actually going to be focusing down the factories first. Hopefully it retargets and goes for the dread launch. There we go.
It is. Okay, he actually used the rush build orbital on the dread launch. That's a nice little move there, but too little too late. It's the problem when you have your production structures so far forward, they can get sniped like that. More Hades are being rallied in. Or actually air marauders as well, the gunships.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna get...
Whoa.
Ow.
Blake leaning back in excitement and falls off of his chair. That's how
cast from the ground.
That's just how exciting this game was, that he literally broke his chair in excitement.
I was so next level.
Oh, wow, that was dramatic.
Casting from the ground, ladies and gentlemen. Who needs a seat when you have Ashes of the Singularity? Did you see the dread launch go down?
It went down.
It went down at the same time I went down, man. Next level.
All right.
Alrighty.
We don't recommend that you get that excited, because things can occur which we may want, which we may not want.
Alright. Chairs to the side. I'm getting a new one.
Yeah, you get a new chair. So, I've actually broken one of those chairs as well.
I can get a new chair, but can Warren get a new dread launch? That's the question.
Man. Yeah, those wooden chairs, they're pretty bad, to be honest. I've broken one of them.
You have?
Yeah, I've broken one of them.
What, did you just throw it out, or fix it?
Maybe it wasn't one of those chairs.
Alright.
Oh, whatever. It doesn't
Gucci.
matter.
I'm alive. Feels good, man.
There's no, like, bruises. There's no...
I did a good break fall, so it's it's all good.
Yeah, that's true. He has martial arts. Yeah. He knows how to do these. Well, the game continues. Pretty big air transition here. Triple advanced Sky Factory.
Maybe the transition is a little bit too late, though. That could be a problem. And this time he's already pushing through. If all this production goes down, it's going to be the issue, though. Now the advanced Sky Factories are the most important structures. That's kind of the good thing, I suppose. Like, the factories just don't matter anymore because Warren is transitioning, so which means he won't be able to transition back after this.
The quantum income is already less for Warren, and he has a lot of these relays exposed. So he could certainly suffer from that in the upgrade scaling. Great cutoff here, this time around from Warren. Because Warren's taken on these forward regions. Neatep still has the Tyrannium ticking in his favor. He's actually overtaken Warren now in income. So that Dread Launch snipe could be fatal. Doesn't look like there's any other dread launches.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Wow. And we thought Warren just had a ridiculously commanding lead, and I suppose he did. It's just that the Kronos would have completely changed this game. The Kronos could have just wrecked this army from Neatep and held the Tronium and held the cutoff.
Warren's not spending his money. I mean, he lost all his factories, so that's why, but yeah, GG. Yeah. Wow. The game was so good, you literally broke a chair.
Yeah. Great game.
That was a nice game. Oh, look at that. Yeah, content comes about double. Ooh, the frigate strat was great. It worked well. I mean, the cutoffs on this map are very brutal. That was sort of a pivotal part of it, is that he was able to hold those cutoffs for some time, and Neatep lost a lot of his income. But yeah, that Kronos, if that came out, man, that would have made a huge difference. Because the Kronos, there's so much splash damage, and the armies get clumped up. It would have been a good game ender. Plus, it was clever too. He went for the Kronos because the Kronos is the cheapest dreadnought as far as metal, but most on rad. So when you're just spamming frigates, it's easier to afford that than say a Hyperion. Maybe he could have even gone for a faster dreadnought. I think he certainly had room to do that.
Yeah, I definitely think that the transition was way too late from Warren. When you've got the commanding lead and it's really obvious what your composition is, that's the point you want to transition. Yeah, feels bad, man. Good stuff.
I'm wondering if we should like add that to the marketing pitch, because we're always looking for a marketing angle for these videos. We're like, this literally so good.
Game's so good, you'll break your chair. So yeah. Was a good game. That's a poster one. That's going on.
Yeah,
the YouTube,
absolutely.
So,
yeah, best game of tonight. I mean, I like that game because it showed a lot of the changes that we saw. The frigate buff, the plasma storm buff. Because had that been the previous patch, there would have been more plasma storms and
plasma storm cost increasing, not buff.
Oh yeah, sorry, the plasma storm nerf. In fact, the cost increase and the ramp up increase. Perhaps he would have just continuously plasma stormed him. So that frigate spam is more of an option, but there's plenty of ways to counter frigates. Again, strap bombers, Hades, Zeus. So as strong as the frigates are, it just means that there's more. It's more active in terms of taking these different unit types and trying to use them against your opponent. All right, let's see who we got for round number